At the Food and Farm Center, wonderful facility. Actually, we're in town to talk about broadband, and we've had an opportunity now to talk to the folks from Solaris and doing their good work. They got a grant from our pot of money for broadband in Wisconsin. They're doing great work in Plover in the area. We thought we could tie this together and see how broadband looks when it's not in a ditch. And we saw that and heard a lot about the great work they're doing at the Food and Farm Center. What a magnificent building, and it's going to be a real successful place. And be glad to answer any questions before we.
Why is the broadband infrastructure so important?
Well, it's like electricity. The day of a household or a business operating is gone if you have to have it. And it's like, it reminds that I wasn't around then, but it reminds me of stories about when they brought electricity to the farms in the day, and when that happened, the federal government stepped in and helped subsidize the program so that people had access to it. It's the same thing now. If you don't have broadband, you can't, kids can't do their homework, adults can't interact with each other across the country, and businesses, look at what's happening with telehealth and how important that is to the health of Wisconsinites. So we feel glad to be part of this effort to bring broadband to everybody across the state of Wisconsin. We did about over 300,000, I believe, households in the last 4 years, and it's our goal to finish it up. And we have a $750 million project in the budget right now. I anticipate that we're going to get some of that, if not all of it, and then we have broadband, the federal money coming through too. So this is a time to strike while the iron is hot.
Any idea how close we are to covering the whole state right now? Do you have those metrics?
Oh, not in the top of my head, I don't, but it's going to take a few years. But we will make a huge dent in this. I think in the next 4 years we'll be very close to having this done.
Any update right now on how the shared revenue and budgeting negotiations are going with the Republicans?
We're talking to them on a regular basis, as well as the municipalities and the townships. Everybody's talking. We have not, we've seen some proposals. So we're hopeful at the end of the day we'll have something that our municipalities can count on.
No idea, or you're not counting on having to veto something that's sent to your desk then at this time, are you?
That's still an option. That's still an option. We have to do it right, and that's really important to me. So we'll see what happens, but there's a lot of moving parts, and it'll be resolved sometime within the next week, I would think.
Did you have one, Brandy?
No.
You good?
Can I add something about the governor's broadband?
Yeah.
Please.
I would love to talk about the governor's proposed budget and broadband specifically. Governor Evers has put in $750 million in his proposed budget, and I want to encourage my colleagues on the Joint Finance Committee to approve it. The question of how much further along do we have to go is really predicated and dependent on how much money the Joint Finance Committee allocates, and the governor has put in the largest proposed amount of broadband grants in state history, and he continues to be a champion for broadband. Today, seeing how Solaris has benefited from previous broadband grants really encourages me, and I know we can go much further, so I want to encourage my colleagues on Joint Finance to get this done.
That's a good message.
Katrina, can you talk just a little bit, for someone who doesn't know, we actually are rural in this community. We're kind of on the cusp of the town of Plover and here in the village of Plover. Can you kind of talk about how the expansion of the broadband will help connect those communities together?
Absolutely. Anywhere I go in the 71st Assembly District, I eventually lose coverage or have with reception, and that's a different issue, but it speaks to the need to be in communication at all times in this day and age. We use broadband and internet for health, education, business, farming, you name it, and whether we're in the town of Plover, the village of Plover, the city of Stevens Point, or the town of Amherst, we all deserve access to communication to each other. And I think this community is rural in many ways. It has been underserved in the past. There has been a lack of competition, and providing these broadband grants as a state increases competition, which is better for consumers and it's better for all of us.
Yeah, we're mimicking what happened with electricity. Electricity absolutely was You couldn't exist without it, whether you're on a farm 50 miles away from the nearest urban area or not. And it's the same way here. And as Katrina just talked about, how important it is in every facet of her life. So we just have to get it done. Simple as that.
Any chance of the Public Service Commission considering broadband and a utility?
I know they're thinking about that. Everybody's thinking about that. We'll see.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you. Sorry, Chet, I swear it just came to me at the last minute.